Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world. This mini explainer accompanies Love is the Best Medicine, what two dogs taught one vet about hope, humility, and everyday miracles. This is not a summary. This is a compressed structural analysis. So let's kick things off with this quote, because it really gets to the heart of the book. For all the incredible tech and medical breakthroughs, Dr. Trout says what really endures, what always will matter most, is that intense relationship between a person and their animal. And that's an experience we can all recognize, right? It's that core feeling. But to really understand how that relationship is shaped today, we need a bit of a roadmap. We're going to start with the system itself, love and technology. Then we'll look at the incentives that create this reinforcing loop and the outcomes that come from it, like escalating norms. We'll use a metaphor, the bridge, to tie it all together. And that'll lead us to the crisis in perception, and finally, our conclusion, where we see the whole system clearly.
All right, let's dive right in. The system, love, and technology. So what exactly is this system we're examining? Let's get a clear definition on the table.
Okay, so here it is. The system we're looking at is that powerful, modern bond between us and our animals. But, and this is the key part, it's not just about love. It's a bond that's structured by two huge forces working together. First, all the high-tech veterinary medicine that's now available. And second, the way our relationship with our pets actually helps form our own emotional identity.
So picture it like this. On one hand, you've got that deeply personal, emotional connection we all know. But on the other hand, you have this constant wave of new technology that just keeps changing the game. I mean, we're talking about gene therapy, stem cell treatments, even anti-cancer vaccines for pets. It completely reshapes the landscape for that bond.
So what drives this system forward? Well, it's not random. It's actually powered by a really fascinating and self-reinforcing loop of incentives.
Here's how it works. Step 1. Veterinary clinics and hospitals adopt all this cutting-edge tech. Suddenly, more is possible. Step 2. As pet owners, we start to equate the depth of our love with the maximum medical intervention we're willing to provide. And then Step 3, a massive market just explodes around all this advanced care. You can see how each step just feeds right back into the next, creating this powerful reinforcing cycle.
And a powerful loop like this doesn't just spin in place, right? It has real-world consequences. It produces these really clear, predictable outcomes that actually reshape how we all behave.
So what does that look like? Well, for one, treatments that used to be seen as extreme, they become the new normal, the baseline. The emotional status of our pets gets dialed way up. They're not just pets anymore, they're straight-up family members. And because of that, super expensive care becomes normalized. It's not just a choice. For many, it feels like a fundamental moral duty. It's so powerful, it even starts to change the legal status of pets.
In this quote from the book, just nails it. Wow. I mean, that's not some rare extreme case. It is the perfect expression of the system's logic in action. It's this idea that love is proven through a willingness to make a total financial and emotional commitment to medical intervention.
So how can we visualize this whole dynamic? Well, there's a really useful metaphor that helps bring it all into focus.
Let's picture the entire system as a bridge. On one side of the gap, you have us, the humans. We're feeling grief, hope, and this really powerful urge to just act, to do something. On the other side of the gap is our animal, and their experience is one of vulnerability, maybe suffering, and crucially, a total inability to consent. So what spans that gap? Technology. Technology is the bridge. It's what connects our intense human feelings to our pet's physical reality. It gives us a channel, a way to act on our love. And every time we use that bridge, it reinforces our feelings of attachment and responsibility, making the system feel not just useful, but absolutely essential. And that's why it persists. The emotional reward, the technological possibility, and the social approval all feed into each other. Okay, this is so crucial. This brings us to the core idea of the analysis, the crisis in perception. It's all about how we see our own choices inside of this system we've just described. So let's ask a question. When we make these huge sacrifices for our pets, are those acts of compassion just a matter of our own personal virtue? We tend to think so, right? We see it as a reflection of who we are as individuals. But what if that's not the whole picture? Here it is. The crisis in perception is what happens when we view these acts of compassion only as a personal choice, as a sign of our own goodness. We miss the fact that these behaviors are also being shaped, guided, and even stabilized by the institutional design of the whole system, by the available technology, the market incentives, and the social norms we talked about. And, this isn't just about our pets. This whole dynamic is a mirror. It reflects a much bigger trend in our world, the commercialization of healthcare in general, and this wider cultural belief we have that real love, real care, has to be expressed through doing something, through active, often technological intervention.
All right, let's wrap this up. We're going to zoom out one last time to get that full structural clarity and see the system as a whole.
So when you read the stories in Love is the Best Medicine, you realize they aren't just individual tales of love and loss. They're actually powerful evidence of a system at work. It shows how our deepest, most personal feelings are actually being shaped and intensified by this whole system of technology, incentives, and social norms. And listen, seeing the system doesn't make the love any less real. Not at all. It just helps us understand the world that gives it shape.
Crisis in Perception examines how systems shape belief and how better tools help us see clearly.
This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.